You are listening to the Workbench After Hours podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to the Second Amendment, where we talk about firearms, everything going on in the gun community, and we even try a different whiskey every week. On this week's episode, we talk about the recent convictions of President Trump and Hunter Biden, which brings up the ultimate question: should people convicted of non-violent felonies be prohibited from owning firearms? While we debate this, we try the whiskey of the week. Welcome to episode 115 of the Workbench After Hours podcast. You know, Chris, there is now a prior president and the president's son that have been convicted of felonies.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that. But before we do, what are we trying this week?
We're trying Bullet Rye. So we couldn't remember if we've had this because we've had a lot of different bullets lately.
Yep.
And usually we like what they have. So this is Bullet Rye, number 5 rye.
Yeah, it was, we've had all the other bullets. We've had the regular bourbon. We had the 10-year. We had the single barrel.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember if we had this or not. And it was like $21. So I'm like, well.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Let's try it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's rye, so.
Definitely get the spices.
Yeah, it smells like rye.
Yep.
Basically getting some vanilla, honey, and spice.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how else to put it.
I get a little bit of a fruit. I don't know what type of fruit it is, though.
Yep.
I don't know.
But it is 90 proof, 45%, 95% rye, 5% malted barley.
Does smell good, though.
Smells like a rye.
Yep.
It's not as spicy as you would think.
No.
Like it.
I'm getting a little bit like a mint on it.
Yeah. Slightly.
Just a little bit. And you get the spice.
Yeah.
And the oakiness.
Mm-hmm. I know some ryes that we tried, I mean, it's spicy.
Yeah.
This, I don't know if it's because the alcohol content's lower or what, but it's not very, it's not.
There's some spice to it, but I'm getting a mint like flavor with it.
Did you brush your teeth before you came over?
I actually did.
I wonder if that's it.
Maybe. I mean, it's like intensifying the mint.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not getting anything too minty. There's something else like vanilla honey. Maybe it's the vanilla and honey and then the oak kind of combined, kind of make a mint flavor for you. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. I mean, if you just brush your teeth, you're getting a really strong mint.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I've tried. I've done that a couple times before the podcast, and then it's like, no, I can't do that because it ruins. Mm-hmm. It ruins it. So, but this is good. I mean, this would be a good. I would say this is probably.
I mean, I would drink this all day long, I think.
Right. So compared to the Jack Daniel rye, I feel like the Jack Daniel one is spicier.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's been a while since we've had that one, but
yeah.
I have the 100 proof over there rye that we need to try too.
I got that up in my cabinet.
But this would be a good rye for a beginner, somebody just getting into ryes like you're used to, because it's not overly whelmingly spicy. Because that's what
usually gets people turned away. I know that's what got me away from rye for the longest time. I was like, oh, it's too spicy, and
this would be good in an old fashioned.
Oh, for sure. We actually went out for our anniversary, and Kat actually tried a banana old fashioned.
Banana old fashioned.
Yeah.
What?
They used Buffalo Trace and like banana bitters, and then they had like a dried old banana for the garnish.
Was it good?
She didn't like it. I drank it. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of Hollerhead, but like mellowed down quite a bit.
Yeah, that was
like,
too in your face.
I could taste the Buffalo Trace in it, but it was good. She's like, I don't understand how you guys drink this, because I wanted to try. They had Booker's there. Yeah. And I really wanted to try that.
Should have done it.
But she's like, well, drink this if I can. I was like, she isn't going to be able to drink it. So I was like, dang it, that was my chance to try Booker's.
You should have just done it, because that's what I did when we went out for our anniversary. We went to a place that has a bunch of whiskey, and they had Blanton's Gold. And I'm like, it's pricey for what they wanted for it, but I can't find it. It's our anniversary. Screw it. I'm going to pay. It was like $40 bucks.
This is like $28 for a little glass.
It's not bad.
But
yeah, it gets pricey, especially on the allocated stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, he's like, oh, there's this other stuff that's good too. I'm like, yeah, but I mean, I have yet to ever see Blanton's Gold. Yeah. I want to try that.
I've seen it, but they want like $250 for the bottle.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
I have an opportunity to buy some allocated stuff from a liquor store who was doing a rewards program that was illegal. So now on Father's Day, they are like, sent a thing out to everybody that was registered and was like, hey, sorry, here's what we're going to do. Show up, you get a ticket, and then you're based on a number, and then you get a chance to, whenever your number is called or your ticket, go in and look at their allocated bottles. They have 150 allocated bottles.
So that's going to be a hard decision.
It depends on where I am in the line, too.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm last, it's probably going to be...
worthless.
Yeah, so hopefully...
But, I mean, even... Hopefully you're like the top 10. You can really
nice.
choose.
Be nice. We'll see.
Like that'd be hard. Like going in there if they had like who knows? They might have Van Winkle.
Obviously I'm not going to get Blanton's or Eagle Rare. I already have that. If they have JD 12 year, may get that unless they have like something else I've been looking for and can't find it. But
single malt Jack Daniels.
Yeah, so we'll see what they have on there. I don't know. Be interesting. Yeah. I'm hoping 150 bottles. There's a crap ton of people probably signed up for that rewards program. So
the only thing they can get going for you is it's on Father's Day.
Yeah. So, but it's like what, 9 o'clock in the morning? Is what it said?
But still.
Which is weird that it's at 9 o'clock in the morning because liquor stores in Kansas aren't allowed to open until 12.
That's kind of crazy.
It's kind of sketchy. It's just like they just keep doing sketchy thing after sketchy thing.
Yeah, they don't care.
No.
They just want their money.
Yep. So we'll see. Find out on next week's episode what we came up with. So, yeah, apologize for the weird colors of the camera. I'm having nothing but issues, technical issues. Seems like when you don't do a podcast for a while, I haven't touched anything, but then it just all of a sudden stops working, and I had to reset the camera to factory settings, and I cannot for the life of me figure out how I had it set up. So...
You need to make a little cheat sheet next time.
I know. So I couldn't get the colors right before we recorded this, so it is what it is. 2 different cameras, colors going. But so if you're listening to audio only, no problem.
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with that. So that's why if you notice a color difference on the video, it's because I'm having issues. But, oh well. Yep. The topic is more important anyway than what our color looks like, whatever our color profile on the Sony A7 IV is. Right? All right, so it's been a while. A lot has been going on, and I was trying to decide what we should talk about. Do we talk about it all, or do we kind of take a couple things and run with it? Figured we'd just do the shorter route because we could always update on the other stuff. So, with that, the one question I want to ask, and then we can talk about the 2 individuals, and then some of the background, and then go back into it. But what the question is, and the title of this episode probably, is should a convicted felon that has been convicted of non-violent felonies still be able to own guns? Because right now, whether you're a convicted felon, violent or non-violent, you can't own guns. So...
Well, you can own black powder rifles.
Okay, but...
You can't own the stuff that
modern
we have.
weapons. So, because if on a sheet, I think that's a rule. That's a federal rule. It's not per state.
I know where you're going with it, but one of those people technically shouldn't have ever been to trial because everyone knows them, so everyone's going to have an opinion or a bias on them.
I honestly think it's both. That could go both ways, and
because it should have been a mistrial.
So obviously, we're talking about Trump, and we're also talking about Hunter Biden. 2 totally different scenarios.
See,
but I'm kind of I
think Hunter Biden shouldn't be able to own a firearm just because of his drug charges.
Okay.
Because drugs will make you do stupid things.
No.
Really?
No.
Yeah. Trump's, on the other hand, I don't agree with at all. It should have been a mistrial because every jury you ever choose is going to know who he is, have some type of opinion on him since he was a president.
Same thing with Hunter Biden, though. He's the president's son.
Yeah, but not a lot of people know him like Trump. Trump ran the country.
So if you haven't been following the news and live under a rock, we'll start with Hunter Biden. He had 3 felony accounts that he was recently convicted on, all 3 accounts. And the first one was a false statement in a purchase of a firearm. The second charge was a false statement related to information you require to be kept by an FFL dealer. And then 3, possession of firearm by a person who is unlawful user or addicted to a controlled substance.
Yeah.
So based on all the...
So based off those charges, I would say no. Because he's lying to get a gun. on documentation and with the illegal substances. So I think if you lie on that form, you shouldn't be able to purchase it. Because what is your intent? At that point, you don't know.
Right. So in short, what he did is on that question on the form 473, one of the questions asks if you're under the influence or addicted to a controlled substance. Doesn't, yeah. And that's saying that's on the form. And the form, whether you agree with having to fill that out or not, I don't know. But he marked no when it was actually yes. And I guess there was a text message he sent to somebody saying that he got a gun and all this stuff. So that's how they were able to figure out the timeline because of this text message. But basically, he marked no to this question, and then they found out. But if you mark yes on that form, and I found this out recently, not that question, but a different one. If any question other than the first one that asked if you're the actual buyer of the gun, the rest of them should be no. If you mark yes to any of those other questions, I, as the FFL, have to stop the sale. Like, we don't run a background check or anything. You marked yes to one of those questions. Doesn't matter the reasoning. We're done. You can't possess that gun. We're in the process of doing that with a buddy. Kind of a weird scenario, but I had no idea. I thought, maybe you at least run the background check and it comes back as denied. Not always the case. So he did mark no to a question he should have marked as yes, because he did suffer from substance abuse, as we all know. And, those drugs were bad, and people on drugs, especially those type of drugs, probably shouldn't have a gun. But that's really all he did. He didn't shoot anybody. He didn't rob a bank or anything like that. He just had an addiction problem and was trying to buy firearms.
Yeah. I think if you're under any type of influence, like especially with a controlled substance,
right,
they shouldn't own a firearm until they get that all cleared up.
But anyway, so he got convicted on all 3 of those felony accounts because he did it. And I read an article on the jurors. Obviously, everybody knows Hunter Biden, who he is, son of an active president. And I don't see how you pick 12 people that are going to be non-biased in one form or another. I mean,
this waited a long time. This should have been done, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, this is
longer. Mm-hmm. So by that time, people probably did know who Hunter is by now. But back then, they wouldn't have.
Right.
So, I mean, if it was you or me, if we did that we'd be in jail.
So Mr. Guns and Gear did a video recently, and that was a question that was in the comments a lot that said, if this were me and I'm not a president's son or somebody of power, I would go to jail.
Yep. Or have a hefty fine.
But that's not true. I'll throw up a statistic here. But on the form 4473, it states if you lie on that form, you could face up to 10 years, 10 or 12 years in jail, and up to a
like $250,000 fine or
hefty
something.
Fine. Yes. So it's not set in stone, but where a lot of people think that, well, if that were just any day Joe Schmo, we'd go to jail. Well, here's a statistic for you. Most recent statistics are sparse, but a report from the U.S. Government Accountability Office, whatever that is, found that during fiscal year 2017, the U.S. ATF referred about 12,700 denied firearm purchases to its field divisions for further investigation. By June of 2018, only 12 of those cases had been fully prosecuted. And the ones that were prosecuted also involved some other stuff that was part of that. So going off that statistic,
it's not very much.
It's not very much. You're likely not going to, do that. I mean, are you going to probably face a fine? Yes, but as far as going to jail, if you don't have anything else in your background,
you might be good.
You might be might be okay, but
you're
not going to jail. So that's if that's your argument, that's kind of something Mr. Guns and Gear brought up. That all right.
I think in his situation, he lied on the statement. He was under a controlled substance. You shouldn't even been able to own a gun at that point.
Right.
Until that substance abuse or addiction has been gone for several years and you've shown that you're no longer needing it.
Most people know, and I'm sure
Yeah, people that kick that can, you'll eventually come back to it.
Yeah,
eventually.
once an abuser of a substance, it's kind of always there.
Yeah,
there's always a chance that you're going to relapse, and it's just unfortunate. But I read an article. One of the jurors spoke out anonymously on the trial.
Yeah,
and one of the things is that they said, he put no on a question that asked if you're addicted to a controlled substance. Should this be removed since marijuana is legal in the states?
Should you be handling a fire gun high?
the form 4473 isn't in the Constitution. It's just something the ATF and government made up, a light registry. I don't know why you can't just do background checks. But putting the fact that that is a question. Marijuana is illegal in a bunch of states. Obviously, you can't go buy a car when you're drunk.
But the problem is,
but then you could buy the car and then go get drunk.
The problem is marijuana is legal in states. It's not federally recognized yet. Like, it's just like the suppressor rules and stuff for some of these states like us. Yeah, state doesn't care. You can have one and make one and all that and sell it to another Kansan. But if federal caught you, you're going to get in trouble. It's that same principle.
I wonder if the federal, because they actually lowered the classification of marijuana recently. But say sometime down the road, once all 50 states, allow it, and the government, the feds, are like, okay, it's, not on our list anymore. It's fine. You can do whatever. At that point, do you take that question off?
I don't think so,
because it specifically says marijuana.
Well, at that point, they remove marijuana, is what I would think. Because then controlled substance could be prescription drugs.
Right.
It could be alcohol. It could be cocaine.
Yeah, you could be addicted to painkillers.
Yeah.
Which
huffing paint.
Yeah.
Like whippets and all that. So,
but
if it's physically states marijuana, eventually they're probably going to have to remove that from that form, because eventually I see the whole U.S. being legal in all states.
Like Sudafed. Like if you're feeling like crap, that's a controlled substance.
Yeah.
How do you define addicted to it? Because there's different levels of addiction to people.
Taking it all the time?
Right.
But
long story short, do you think that question should remain on the form?
I think it should. And if marijuana does come legal in all 50 states, then they got to remove marijuana from that statement.
I think it should be out of there anyway. Because come on, I don't know if you've ever done marijuana, but people that are high don't go to bars and get in fights. Or you don't see a bunch of high drivers wrecking and causing a bunch of deaths. It all has to do with alcohol.
Yeah.
And alcohol is completely legal. And I think more and more people are seeing that, hey, marijuana isn't as bad as.
Well, that was all back them trying to get tobacco, like farms and everything back in the day. I mean, our Constitution, everything's written on.
If you smoke a cigarette, put in a dip of chew, your mind and body are altered because you get that nicotine high.
Yeah.
How can you smoke? How can you have that? Why is that not considered a controlled substance?
Because it's legal. It's a legal substance.
But why is that legal? Marijuana is not. It does basically the same damn thing.
Well, marijuana does a little bit more.
Yeah, but I mean, I have never met an angry person on a pot. Yeah. Usually everybody gets the giggles and all that stuff, and they sleep.
Mellow.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Let us know if you guys are listening. What you think about that? Should that question remain or be removed?
What are the other states like saying? Like, I wonder what their form says. I wonder if marijuana is even listed on theirs.
This is a federal form, so they're all the same. Yeah. Depending on no matter what.
So eventually, if it ever becomes federally legal, they have to get rid of it. Yeah. That word, marijuana, Mary Jane.
But one of the jurors said that the trial for Hunter Biden, in their opinion, was a waste of tax dollar money. They said that Hunter Biden needed help for his addiction, but did not need to receive prison time for his conviction, as they were non-violent crimes. So he got convicted of all 3 felonies, but they were non-violent. So this person in particular, and a lot of other people, are coming out saying that they don't feel he should go to jail.
That paper trail thing that's happening right now. They're trying to get everything paper trail because you know where this is leading next.
Registration?
No.
What?
It's going to be leading to the illegal money he's been taking, and him and his father and all that have been taking.
Yeah.
And now that he's a felon, this will be even more added on that, so it'll eventually lead to more prison time.
But that aside.
Yeah.
We'll just focus on these.
I mean, if they want to talk about waste of taxpayer dollars, look at all the money we've wasted sending money elsewhere.
You know what I think was a huge waste, and somebody that shouldn't be in prison either?
Yeah.
Dexter Taylor, that software engineer who just built guns for his pleasure.
That said that the Second Amendment doesn't exist in the court.
Yeah, but that guy is, he did everything legally, but because he lives in the wrong state is in prison for 12 years. Whereas Hunter Biden had all these problems, and he's more or less going to get a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, because the thing, I've been listening to a bunch of random rants lately, and I listened to one person, they were talking about Social Security, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, we are so in debt. How are we going to be able to pay all these Americans that paid their whole life while they worked to our government to make sure that they had something when they retire? He's like, we're not going to be able to do it. And he's like, we're going to have over 150 million people walking up to Capitol Hill wanting their money and demanding their money. And if we don't get this figured out now, we're in trouble. And this other lady interjected. She goes, yeah, Social Security was supposed to be at the max we'd ever should have had to pay was 6%. You know what we're paying right now, Social Security-wise? 12.4. We're doubled.
And it's going to run out pretty soon.
They're saying by 2035 that there'll probably be no Social Security left for anybody. Because we're so far in debt because we're helping other countries.
Oh, yeah. The way things are going and everything is, I don't ever plan on being able to retire.
Yeah.
Because it's like...
I mean, you're going to die in debt.
You're going to die in debt, and then it's to the point to where everything's so expensive, I don't ever see a way of not being able to afford stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we're 37-ish, right?
Yep.
I mean, technically... 62, which was a normal retirement age, isn't that far away.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to have enough money to survive on for X amount of years. But also, I don't plan on living to be old because of everything going on.
Enjoy retirement, though.
Right.
And, like...
You hear all these people, like, recently that just retired, and then, boom, they're dead.
Yeah. Because, I mean, right now,
I think we should do what other countries do and... worry less about work, and enjoying life, and kind of, not the 9 to 5, 5 days a week. Do it what other countries do, and maybe do a 4-day work week, or isn't it in Britain or somewhere in Europe where they have like tea breaks, and shit like that?
Yeah, Spain had like siesta time, like in the middle of the day. They shut down everything for 3 hours.
You want people to want a work-life balance, and
I think what we should do, me and my coworker were talking about this today. We're like, man, because we saw kids like walking and playing, going to the parks and stuff. We're like, man, that'd be so nice to have summer off again, you know? Like, what they need to do is like during the summertime when all your kids are off and everything, is make you work 20 hours, but you get paid your 40. Stuff's still getting done. So,
you think companies can survive with that?
Oh yeah, they can. Look at all these companies that are making billions of dollars, and we'll give you a 2 to 4% increase when we just made a 50% increase.
So is that for every job profession out there? You think that can?
I think everyone could.
So,
I mean, small businesses would probably suffer in that aspect for a little bit, but if a lot of the small businesses are mom and pop where they make their own hours anyways.
Yeah.
So they could probably do it. Do they want to? Probably not. But I think that should be an option.
Yeah. There's just got to be a way to get rid of, even make it like 36 hours is full time. Like give us
I say 30 hours should be full time.
Right. That's never going to happen. Americans are going to work themselves to death. Save up all this money for retirement, and then
if you're really efficient at your job, you probably can get everything done in 2-3 days, right? If you're super efficient.
I don't think my boss listens to this, but I don't work a full 8-hour day ever.
Yeah, like
very rarely anyway.
Usually when I'm at work,
I'm salary though.
I'm done by lunchtime.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting around doing nothing.
But you're also on the clock in case anything happens. You're there ready to respond
for like 2 more hours, 2-3 more hours.
Right.
Like, why not? Okay, 12 o'clock, you're done. You know, like I even heard that they're trying to, and it's supposedly like work burnout is becoming a disease.
Yeah.
And you can go to a doctor and get a prescription for it.
Of course. What? Like what? What are they going to prescribe you?
Like time off.
That's it?
Yeah.
Not like an Adderall
time
or
off,
anything like that?
Yeah, like time off because that's what you need.
Nice.
Work-life balance,
Of course.
Yeah.
But moving on to the Trump side of things. Obviously, this is a lot more complex and complicated, but he was found guilty of his 34 accounts. But again, all nonviolent charges.
Yeah.
So he got basically the same thing Hunter Biden did, nonviolent federal charges.
So here's my thing with, if, let's say, a domestic dispute, would that be considered violent?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, they'll say that's a violent,
right?
Even though you're just yelling at each other, like nothing physically took, could then be a domestic abuse, right?
Yeah.
So, what's their definition of violent?
Well,
when it comes to that,
I don't know.
Laying hands on someone physically.
Maybe there's a dictionary thing.
Because I'm pretty sure, like, you can get a felony for domestic disputes all the time.
Right.
I think they need to reevaluate what a felony is.
So since Trump is technically a convicted felon right now, the NYPD is seeking to revoke Trump's license to carry a concealed weapon after his conviction in the New York hush money case. He had a concealed carry permit in New York with 3 pistols registered under that permit. 2 of the pistols were turned over to the police department's license division around the time Trump was charged in April of 23 with the 34 counts of falsifying business records. The 3rd pistol had already been transferred down to Florida, probably lost in a boating accident. But under federal and state law in New York and Florida, people with felony convictions are barred from possessing a firearm. So again, nonviolent or violent, doesn't matter. Once you're a felon, you can no longer possess a firearm. And
I mean, that's
the thing, because it all had to do with business stuff, paying people off.
Yeah.
It had nothing. It's not like he was going and robbing the banks. He had nothing to do with firearms. He just had them.
Yeah.
But now, because he made supposedly bad business decisions, he can no longer exercise his Second Amendment right as a president or a civilian.
I mean, if they're going to do...
So...
At that point, if they're going to do that, then that means they got to take away all of your amendments if you're a felon then, right?
Well, you can't vote, right?
You're not supposed to.
I know there's some...
But at that point, are they taking away your freedom of speech too? I mean, they were doing that before he even got convicted.
Well, and in the Constitution, it states nothing
about if you have a felony.
Mm-hmm. It just says, if you're an American, you have every right to own a weapon. It's our government lawmakers that have made this way.
Yeah.
And technically, if you read the Constitution...
It shouldn't be a pinge on or whatever.
Right.
Fringed.
Technically, they should be able to own guns.
They should.
But as a society, we've changed that.
It's because we're no longer a republic and we're a democracy.
Right. So our former president can no longer own guns technically, but the Second Amendment Foundation has announced it will defend former President Trump, his gun rights in the wake of his conviction in the New York courtroom, which could result in the
So you're telling me New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
New York courtroom doesn't recognize the Second Amendment.
All right.
But now they want to take and recognize the Second Amendment. Take his guns.
The Second Amendment Foundation.
I know, but this all happened in New York where they don't recognize the Second Amendment, but they want to recognize it on him and take his guns away.
Well, they took all of Dexter Taylor's guns away. But anyway,
that's my problem.
So this is obviously the Second Amendment Foundation. It's a veteran gun rights advocate. The veteran gun rights advocate noted that it has always been Second Amendment Foundation's position that someone should not lose his or her gun rights due to a conviction of a nonviolent crime. So that's kind of up to debate. I mean,
I agree as long as it's nonviolent.
Like Hunter Biden.
Because he lied.
It could go either way.
He lied on the form.
Okay,
that's the thing.
That's it.
And
Did it hurt anybody?
And
No.
he was under substance. He could have really hurt someone though.
Could have, but he didn't. Trump could have hurt somebody doing whatever. I mean, he He hurts people's feelings all the time on Twitter.
Oh, that's because we're a snowflake country anymore.
So honestly, at the end of the day, they're both nonviolent felonies.
Yeah.
But now they can no longer own guns, which is funny.
I mean, Donald Trump's just going to get reelected, and he's going to get rid of it, and he'll get all his felonies cleared, and he'll have his guns back. So.
He can't pardon himself.
I'm sure he could.
He can't.
Sure he can. You want to know how? You're my vice president. I'm stepping down. Now pardon me.
Right. Yeah. I don't think that.
Last day. That's what I would do.
Yeah. But how messed up is that if he gets reelected, an active president cannot own guns? Like the most...
That should not even been in the courtroom. We all know this is election meddling. It's shown.
Basically, they're trying every way to get Trump to not
run because they're scared.
They want him to go to jail. They want him to go
because they want us to be a communism, and they want control.
Yep,
that's what the Democrat wants.
So the Second Amendment Foundation also stated that Donald Trump has no history of violent crime. Under the Supreme Court's 22 Bruin ruling, which required gun laws to have some...
I mean, really, if you're a president or an ex-president, do you really need a gun? Because you have Secret Service.
So I was watching some MSNBC guy that is totally left-wing reading a prompter that I'm pretty sure Biden could have read better. But his thing was... like, what does a president need 3 handguns for? Well, guess what? It's his Second Amendment right. Yeah. I don't care if he has a Secret Service or not. It's his American right, especially as the leader of the free world. He can have a gun if he wants to.
Yeah. But I know. I mean, at
Dick
that
Cheney went out shooting and shot somebody.
Yeah.
What were they, duck hunting or quail hunting, whatever? He wasn't a president. He was a vice president. Yeah. He had a gun. I mean you don't necessarily need a gun for self-defense. They're target shooting. They're fun,
I mean, this should not even went to court.
What was the, was it?
I mean, after all this fiasco, if they're going to do this to Trump, they got to turn around and do it to Biden and his whole family.
Right.
At that point.
But so they're going to, so basically they've offered their expertise and stuff like that in case Trump.
I don't know, because the Second Amendment shouldn't be infringed on. So
right. But this foundation has nearly 60 cases currently in progress and has won decisions all the way up to the Supreme Court. Yeah. And they state
because you're not supposed to, if you're an American, you're not supposed to be.
Yeah. So they've litigated challenges in the past to restore gun rights for people convicted of non-violent crimes. And he says, we will do so again. In fact, we are currently litigating a challenge to the denial of carry permits for some former plaintiffs whose rights were restored due to their lawsuits. So,
I mean, good on them.
Yeah.
So if you're going to donate to them.
But at the flip side, why wouldn't they offer their services to Hunter Biden? He has nonviolent crimes he's been convicted of. Same thing.
Yeah.
It's just,
I don't know, just because you lied on that form, like, that's hard. Like, what is it? Why would you want to lie on a form like that?
Somebody that suffers with addiction may not realize they have a problem. So in their eyes, they're like, yeah, sure, I'm on drugs, but I'm in control.
They think they're in control.
Right. So then
at that point,
technically he's not lying. He thinks he's in control.
He thinks he is, though.
Yeah.
Even though he's not.
I think that these are both the same. Like, why treat him any different? Yeah, he lied on the form.
I just think because he did lie on that form that you're supposed to fill out and do your background check.
You're not supposed to pay people off using business money either, right?
Yeah, but you're also not supposed to take a president to freaking court on that shit either.
You shouldn't take a president's son to lie on the form.
No.
I mean, I see both. I mean, it's not easy either way.
I just think if it's a nonviolent crime.
Okay, so forget this is Hunter Biden's son, because obviously we don't.
I don't know.
Biden.
I just
consider
I
this. What is one of Trump's sons?
The way I look at it is, you are under a substance abuse problem. You're getting a gun. What is your intentions? Are you trying to rob your dealer? Because a lot of people, they're trying to just get the drugs. And if you have no money, what are they going to most likely do? They're either going to try to rob them or kill them to get what they want.
But you don't know that. You could assume.
That's what a majority of them are going to try to do.
Right, but you can't assume.
So
say this.
I just mean that form.
Say this was Eric Trump and not.
It'd be the same thing. I was like,
so Eric Trump, one of his Trump sons, did exactly what Hunter Biden did. Do you think it should go the same way?
Yeah, it should, because he lied on that form.
Did he though? Technically, he got convicted of it, so obviously he did.
And he was bragging about it.
But that's the hard part. Like I said,
I mean,
if you're an addict, you think you're in control, and you're not.
You're not.
And so, did he lie? I don't know. That's surprisingly, the jury didn't take that long to.
Yeah,
it was like a day or something like that. They were initially 50-50, but then they all
just because it is that form is what he is allowing you to get that gun.
Yeah,
that's the way
if it comes down to it, it's like he marked, the wrong one. So yes, he should be.
And he intentionally did it because he texted someone about it and was bragging about it.
Technically, Trump paid a chick off using business money and all this, whatever else he did. I mean,
it's his money.
How's that any different?
So they're already trying to control what we spend our money on.
Right.
So how is that any different?
I think Trump's thing is just them trying to get
it's
him
election
out of
meddling.
office.
Yeah. They don't want him to run, and this is their one way that maybe he couldn't run.
Just plainly answer this, and this is the question: should someone who has a nonviolent felony be banned from owning guns? Think about this, though.
I'll say no.
Okay.
I don't think they should be banned from guns because your Second Amendment shouldn't be infringed on. But if it is a violent crime, you definitely shouldn't.
Right. I asked my wife this because she's like, "What's the podcast about?" I'm like, "Well, this is what it's about." Like,
I mean, it's hard because that form is what is getting you that gun, and you're lying. At that point, you do have intentions to get a gun. We don't know what it is.
But technically, according to the Constitution, we shouldn't even be filling out that
form. True.
But, so there's that.
Yeah.
If you ask some really pro Second Amendment people like Colin Moore, that form is
technically you shouldn't be even registering your car then or getting a driver's license then if you want to go by that.
Like,
you shouldn't have insurance.
Is like, yeah, do the background check. Don't do the form. The form is, realistically a form of a registration.
Yeah.
As long as you do the background check and pass.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with that. Like, fuck the form. It is a way for them to register.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
So you think they nonviolent should be able to own guns?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Because it's like, is America really in danger of, say, Trump and what he did, bad business dealings?
You know how many bad business dealing goes on daily in this country?
I know. That's why is America, at risk or unsafe because he owns a gun? No.
I think if it's a nonviolent crime, you should be able to own a gun.
But I asked my wife that same question, and she's like, "Yeah, nonviolent, probably not." But then I asked her, "Okay, well, here's the flip side. Okay, you have a violent felony, right? But say Shawshank Redemption, you serve your time. You are older. You realize you were stupid. You supposedly change.
But how do you know if they actually changed?
I don't know. Maybe there's like a same way if they decide if you should go up for probation or whatever. Like you have to prove that. But and that raises another question. I mean,
there's a lot of good actors out there that could probably
exactly.
Get
That's
away.
what she said. She's like, once a bad person, you're always a bad person.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's not always true. I mean, some people do change.
Some do,
but how would you prove that?
It'd be hard to prove.
Right. Say somebody, when
at that point, I'd probably be like, all right, you're on a probationary period for 5 years and nothing happens. Then you can come back legally and try to get it removed.
Right. And I guess it depends on, obviously, if
it's
a serial killer.
It's also, because I know someone that this happened to, like he got in an argument with his wife and it was a domestic dispute. Mm-hmm. But since he had kids there, it was domestic violence. Because there was kids there that were under 18.
So that's worse.
Yeah. So if you're in a domestic dispute and you got kids there, they'll say it's domestic violence at that point.
Gotcha.
So crazy.
Right.
It sucks.
But I mean, think of it like somebody robs somebody and you accidentally kill them on purpose or not. Say you're 16 and you end up killing somebody over something stupid. You serve, say, 40 years in prison. Obviously,
yeah.
Of course, our system's meant to keep you corrupt and in prison.
Yeah,
but say you go the 40 years and you realize you've threw your life away, you get released and trying to start over again.
That'll be hard.
Should you be able to own a gun again, or should there be a process to where you
I
go
think there
through
is
to
potentially a process at that point. I mean, it's going to be a case by case thing too, because let's say someone is robbing you, and it's your life or their life. What are you most likely going to do? You're going to try to save yourself,
right?
And at that point, it's self-defense. So he shouldn't even be in prison.
Right. But I don't know. Think about that. I mean,
yeah. I mean,
because right now it's.
I mean, I think there should
matter.
be a process, and like it'll probably be a case by case thing. Because just like I said, kids were involved. It goes from domestic dispute to domestic violence.
Right. Now, I don't think this will ever change.
Yeah.
But it's just a question to be asked and think about.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think.
Did they kill anybody? It's nonviolent. So
I mean, right now, you steal a phone, you're a felon.
Not in California, apparently.
Yeah, but.
You can do a lot of shit in California and get away with it.
You can rob whole stores and get away with it.
You can probably rob a car.
Probably go rob a gun store and take everything out of it and not get in trouble for it.
What gun stores? There are no gun stores in California because they can't have anything.
Yeah.
Oh, you want this featureless AR-15?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a gun.
Oh, okay.
Sell it on the black market.
Right.
Turn it into full auto.
God. Yep. Yeah, let us know your guys' opinion in the comments below if you're on YouTube. If not, and you're listening to audio only and want a way to communicate with us, either get on YouTube and write something in the comments or go to our website, boomstick-tactical.com, and there's a place in there where you can leave us a message. Just record it. We don't necessarily have to play it on the episode if you don't want to, but we can relay it. But yeah, let us know your thoughts on someone with a nonviolent felony. Should they be barred from owning guns or not?
Yeah, I don't think they should be. But hey, each their own. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Some extreme leftists will say, "Oh yeah." So,
but yeah, it's funny that guy was like, "Why does Donald Trump need guns? Why not? It's his American right."
Yeah, I mean, like what? Like at that point, if you're not allowed to own a gun, you can't go hunting. And if that's something you like, one of your passions and hobbies, that would suck.
It would just the fact knowing that you could never do it would suck. I mean, yeah, you may not be in the guns. He doesn't need one for self-defense anyway. But
he might be a hobbyist and likes to go duck hunting or
I don't
go
think
deer
he is,
hunting.
But you know,
yeah, but you never know because there are other presidents that they like doing that stuff.
Or if his sons, I think his sons like guns.
Yeah.
He toured the factory, Palmetto State Armory, and if he's a felon, he technically can't hold a gun. Like, he can't be in possession of a gun, so...
You can own black powder, though. That's what is weird to me.
Yeah, but
that's a weird rule.
Nobody messes with that shit anymore.
You know, cannons.
Yeet cannon. But, yeah, so that's iffy. It's kind of my take is, like, yeah, you like one, you hate the other, but really, they're both technically non-violent, so why should either one...
It's hard for me because he did fill out that form knowing.
Right.
That's the hard part for me to, like, you knew what you were doing.
Did he? I don't know. I don't know the specifics if he was on something at the time or if he just did that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But either way, it was non-violent. Check marking a box, non-violent. No criminal history that was violent anyway.
That we know of.
Yeah. But
who knows what happens in Russia?
Yeah. Speaking of Russia, what do you think of the whole thing going on with their ships showing? I think they're going to North Korea to show. Hey, we're with you.
I don't know.
I know some people are nervous how close to the U.S. they're getting, but
I mean, when we went to the Black Sea, we could see them, and they followed us everywhere we went. So,
damn Russians.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, did you have anything else for this week? Since it's been a few weeks.
No, that's been about it.
Anything else you've noticed or watched on?
No,
YouTube.
Not really. I haven't had time to watch a lot of YouTube.
Yeah.
Been camping and vacation and work.
Yep.
So
same thing. It's we had a bunch of graduation parties. We had a wedding, family in town. It's my busy season with work. It's like, oh man, it's hard to keep up. Plus with 2 other YouTube channels, it's like, But I'll tell you, if you're subscribed to the Rusted KC Moto channel, went and did Harley's demo days. Test rode the 24 Road Glide.
Yeah.
Which I like over the 23 Road Glides. Yeah. The handlebars are much better. The technology's better. The bikes are a little bit lighter and more balanced well. I just like them. And they're
Save
cheaper.
that money.
Yeah, I know, right? I think if I were to redo it now and it had that model out when I bought that other bike, I'd probably go with the Road Glide. It's comfortable. It's so comfortable. You feel like not that the shifting is rough or hard on the ST, you still feel it. When you're on that Road Glide, you shift, you don't even feel it. It's like a automatic car.
Yeah, no. I like feeling the mechanical things engaging, disengaging.
I mean, you still hear it because it's clunky and stuff.
Well, I like having the feel. Like,
Yeah.
I test drove a more modern car, and it was a manual, and I hated it because I could not feel where the pressure plate was engaging and disengaging.
Right.
And, like, it had hill assist, so it's supposed to help you if you're on a hill, but you couldn't feel the clutch, so you'd stall it because you couldn't feel where that engagement was going on. So, I don't know.
Supposedly, the new Road Glides and touring bikes have that. There's now a hill assist.
Yeah.
Because being on a motorcycle, especially heavy one like that, when you're on a hill,
it's stop and
kind of a really pain in the ass.
Yeah.
You gotta. I use the rear brake and then the clutch and throttle at the same time. And
well, if you're able to sit in that friction zone on a bike more than a car, you should just be able to give it enough gas and friction zone
but
just
you
to
want
keep
to
still.
sit there at the light and do this, and then
I don't know.
You don't want to do one or the other and roll back too far if someone's running your ass. But hill assist does look pretty cool. We don't need it here. It's not like we have any big hills.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's been a couple times that, like, what is that, Merlin and Santa Fe, there's a little bit of a hill.
A little bit, not much.
Yeah. It's not an issue for me, especially since ST's a little bit lighter. But, man, watching videos on the Road Glides, blockhead
Just need to
motor.
hurry up
Just
and win the lottery, man.
I know, I want to, because I would go out immediately and buy a Road Glide.
I wouldn't.
I sure would.
I'd buy an R18.
You know, some guy, I was at Quick Trip, and he walked up to me. He's like, "Hey, nice bike. What is that?" I told him what it was, and he said he used to ride BMWs. I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know any BMW dealers up here." And he mentioned one. I forgot where he said it was, but I
haven't heard of one. I was like, man, I should open up my own BMW motorcycle shop in this area.
Yeah, I'll see on Facebook Marketplace like some used older ones.
Yeah,
but as far as any new,
I'd love to see one.
Yeah, the R18s. I watch some big YouTube channels and they got them and they're awesome. Reverse. It's a big heavy bike and having reverse on something like that would be nice. Harley,
if you're listening,
yeah, reverse would be nice.
Yeah, go air cooled.
I'm not a fan of the way that the heads are like this.
Yeah,
it's a little weird.
It's a boxer.
Yeah,
but a lot of people, they put their legs up on them.
One thing I think it is with that bike, the windshield you can raise and lower.
Yeah,
that would be nice
instead of having to go find the one that fits you right.
Yes,
have that adjustability.
Yeah, because I've went through I don't know how many
3 or 4.
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
Every week I came over, I was like, man, what's this one? You're like, I got to see if it works. Oh, this one didn't.
Well, I had the perfect one, and now that I got a different seat, I'm raised a little bit more. So it's like, man, maybe I need that bigger one. I don't know. It's a pain in the ass.
You can make adjusters, I'm sure.
It's just something that's never ending, kind of like with cars, If you're into cars, you're not keeping it.
Yeah.
There's always something.
Tinkering.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it sucks because kind of like a boat, I guess, everything's expensive.
Yeah, everything's expensive on everything.
Mm-hmm. It's not like I was thinking about I want to change the handlebars. I want them higher and pulled back a little bit so I'm not leaning forward because my back does hurt after a while leaning forward. But to do that, it is expensive.
What's that saying? It pays to play.
I guess.
You got to pay to play.
Yeah. It's like, shit, man. I can probably do it myself, but then you got to bleed the brakes. I don't know how to do that.
I got a brake bleeder kit.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's the same as a car.
It just, with two wheels, you're
a little bit more cognizant about what's going on.
Yeah, you don't want to do something wrong. Cause then, your brakes are messed up in the car, not as big of a deal. I mean, it still sucks, but a lot worse when you're on a bike or a cable gets messed up. And I don't know. That's why the handlebars on the freaking road glides I want to get like mini apes on mine, but it's like, I don't know what to get. There's all these companies that make aftermarket parts, different heights, but it's like, I don't know. And it's not like you could go to a dealership and try them out, because
it would be nice to have like a showroom for you to try this stuff before you buy.
Yes. Because
maybe we should come up with our own motorcycle shop and be like, here, you got this, try these 3 bars, different sizes, and see which one you like the best.
Yeah. Or have something to where you could, sit on a bike back. All right, well, this is about.
Or even like on a simulator where you just put it on like a simulator and okay, I can get used to this.
One thing I liked on the Red Glide was the forward controls.
Yeah.
Because
a little bit more stretched out.
A little bit more stretched out. I mean, I get mid controls on that because you get more control of the bike, especially in the turns. But I do get cramps. Like there's times where I got to pick my feet up. I'm like, oh shit, I got a cramp, and it lasts, and then you can't do anything.
I'm getting old.
I'm like, the forward controls.
You need to start stretching then before you get on your bike. It sounds like.
Stop drinking booze, probably.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Booze and coffee dehydrates you. Yeah. That's all I drink.
Drink some water.
Right. But we could digress all day because it's been a while.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen him in the 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Briefly.
Yeah.
Briefly.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Crazy.
Well, like I said, if you guys have a response or want to comment, check out, get over on YouTube, right down below. Get on our website, boomstick-tactical.com. Leave a voicemail. Give us your thoughts on what we talked about. If there's anything you want us to talk about in future episodes as well. This is sponsored by Boomstick Tactical, by the way. So we do offer the lowest prices in firearms. If, we don't have a whole lot of inventory right now, but if you want us to shoot us whatever you want, we can send you a free quote. And if you live in the Kansas City area, close to Olathe, we do $20 transfer fees.
Yeah.
There you go. Cheapest in town.
I'll
tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Chris, with that, what are you going to say?
Remember, this is a YouTube podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and tickle that bell. If you're listening on those other platforms, please hit that follow button. And with that, everyone, have a good one.